So how do you handle it when somebody unsubscribes from your list, or you get a negative comment, or even for that matter, a spam report? Especially when you are a solo coach and you're working as hard as you can to make it all work, and you're super sensitive to the energy of things that can hit you pretty hard. We're going to talk about that and a little bit more today. And I want to welcome you to my channel. I'm Michelle Sera. This is my channel, Coach Diaries, where I take you along with me on the journey while I go after this super ambitious goal of growing my email list by 4,000 subscribers in 2025 without any paid advertising or complicated strategies. So let's go ahead and get into this topic of how do you handle the hard stuff, the negative comments or the unsubscribes or the spam reports, or when somebody emails you back and says some things that they're unhappy with something that you have shared with them. There are two sides of the coin. You're going to have people who this doesn't bother at all, right? It's just a part of business. And they look at it all like unsubscribes or spam reports or negative comments or even like refunds or complaints. They look at it from a numbers perspective only, that there is a certain percentage they don't want to rise above, because it is a numbers game on one side, right? And you really do need to pay attention to the stats and set some baselines so that you know what is normal for your business and what is not normal, so that you can address anything when it happens or if it happens. On the other hand, for those of us who are more sensitive to this kind of thing, we take it deeply personal, right? When somebody unsubscribes from your email list or leaves a negative comment, or I've had, I can recall a person on my list whom I had actually known a little bit, right? I'd had some conversations with this person, and they responded back to something that I shared that was personal, in the sense of I was sharing my feelings on something that had happened, out in the world, and which I don't often do. I kind of keep inside this bubble of my business. And I was sharing another person's story. And so another person replied back a very scathing response. It was very shocking to me, very unexpected, not something I had experienced before. And so here is some of the perspectives I try to look at things through, and the way that I handle things like this. On one, I understand that I have no idea what kind of day or what is going on in a person's life when they choose to do something like that. Either respond negatively, like take the time to hit reply and write an email back, or for that matter, just click unsubscribe, right? Or leave a negative comment on a video. I have no idea what is going on for that person. And so I can have some compassion there as well. Now, truth is, some people can just be mean because they enjoy doing that. It fulfills something in them, which we won't even go into trying to understand that. But, it's just a fact of the matter. So to some degree, I do think that you're going to experience some of this when building a business. Whether if you had, let's say that you didn't have an online business, but you have an in-person business, and you have a customer that comes in irate, complaining about something, and maybe what they're complaining about in regards to you and your business isn't really a big deal, but because they've had a really horrible day and some other things have gone on in their personal life, it is blown out of proportion, right? So it doesn't matter whether you have an in-person business or an online business. That is a part of business, navigating people's responses to you. And they can be absolutely wonderful, and sometimes they can be not so wonderful. So there is a certain level of acceptance that it is part of growing and building a business. and finding your peace with that. When you are super sensitive to the energy of things, or super empathic, it can be hard to not take it personal, to not take on that person's emotions as your own. And so just simply recognize, is this mine or is this someone else's? Do they have a right to do that? Express themselves, say how they're feeling, right? Unsubscribe from an email? Absolutely, right? So just gaining some perspective and putting some distance between yourself and that experience, how you feel about that experience. Weigh the evidence of the opposite, meaning you have someone who left a negative comment, but for that one person, you have 10 more that left super positive and supporting comments. So always look at the evidence for the opposite. That is a really important thing because our brains are not wired to look for the positive. Our brains are wired to, most of the time, look for the negative, right? And that's what's going to stand out and have more of an impact. So we always need to bring our attention and awareness to the positive. Now, when it comes to unsubscribes or spam reports for that matter, remember that when that does happen, there is a certain amount of that that's going to be normal. You do want to pay attention, though, to see if it begins to increase or if you have a lot of unsubscribes in a very specific time period. Go look and see what that's about. What did you send out that day? What happened? Was there a glitch of some sort, right? Is there something wrong? Did you have an email that went out 3 times in a row, the same email because of something glitched? Like, so things like that happen. And it can cause this kind of backlash that you don't want, but at least you understand why it's happened and you can investigate it further. So things like that you can't take personal because it's just a fact of the matter that something broke and people reacted to that instance. So always pay attention to your stats. And when something does begin to occur, like unsubscribes more often, find out why. Same thing with spam. Now, spam obviously can have a negative impact on your business if you get too many spam reports. And it's a really tough thing because you are growing your business. You may be increasing the frequency of your email sends, and you're really working to balance between providing this high value, right? And promoting the offers that you have, but doing so in a way that doesn't upset people, that you're still giving them something of value to make receiving your emails worth it. Again, you don't know what's going on when somebody, if you have someone report your email as spam, you don't know why they did that, right? They may, if you have a feedback form attached, they may give some responses that will be helpful and insightful for you. But again, if it's just one person, remember that's just one person out of how many ever you have on your list. Take that information in. Don't react to it though, or make massive changes because of feedback that one person gave. Look into it further and see if this is something that really warrants a change. The other thing is a lot of people don't know when they're receiving emails from tons and tons of different people, they don't know that hitting spam, report as spam, is actually something that can hurt your business. Some people do. Some people don't. They simply see it as a way to get off your email list rather than scroll down to the bottom, find the unsubscribe link, hit it, then go to this other page where they have to make choices as to what they want to unsubscribe from. They can just hit report spam and it takes them off of your list faster. Most people don't know that that actually hurts your business reputation. So keep that in mind, okay? And always, always strive to give people as much value as you can. And as much, value can come in the form of inspiration and motivation. It doesn't mean that you have to give away all of your expertise and everything that you know and every product that you have for free. I hear that a lot. Like, I can't just give everything away for free. Inspiration and motivation can be given away over and over and over again at no cost. So remember that most of us just want to feel better. We want to feel like we're making progress. We want to know that somebody is there to support us along the way. So there's a little bit that I hope that is helpful for you in terms of how you handle these things. For some people, it is no big deal, right? For others, it every single unsubscribe or every single negative comment or, reply that they get to an email that wasn't positive takes a hit, right? Every single one is difficult to handle. And you will get better at it over time. It should always matter to you because we're always striving to create a positive impact. But hopefully you can gain some perspective and look at it from a few different angles to understand that it doesn't have to be personal, that you don't know what the reasons are. And if you do, you're looking into that and possibly making some changes to handle it and moving on, right? We all experience these things as business owners. So just know that it will be okay if this is you and you're struggling with these things. So I hope that's helpful. I also want to talk a little bit about creating your offers. I generally will talk about this to some degree in almost every video. But one of the things that when it comes to coaches and we're creating offers to put out there, whether you have one big main core offer, right, or you have other smaller offers, one of the big things that I see coaches struggling with is their free offer, their lead magnet. And I'm hoping that you have more than one. When you're just getting started, you may only have one, but ideally you want to have a few and even more for the sake of testing to see which ones convert really well for you and become your kind of mainstay lead magnets. Over time, you may need to refresh those and create new lead magnets, free content for your target audience so that they join your community. Now, one way that I like to create offers or an approach that I take to make sure that from the free offer to the paid offer, and I'll differentiate here, paid offer can be a low tier offer, so a low dollar offer that leads to maybe a core program or just a bigger dollar amount offer, a more in-depth offer. It's really important that each of those be highly relevant to the next. So if I am someone who comes across your free content, your free offer or lead magnet, and it really interests me, it's something that I need, so I opt in for that, I should have an experience of seeing a paid offer that is relevant to that, not necessarily immediately, but possibly depending on the situation. But the next offer I see should be relevant to that lead magnet, the whole reason why I joined your community in the first place. And then, of course, that, let's say then that I see a mini course on a similar topic or an extension of that same topic that I sign up for, that I pay for because I want to learn more about it. I want to go more in depth and solve an even bigger problem. Then that mid-tier or low tier or mid-tier offer should then naturally and logically lead to your bigger offer, your main offer, because it should make perfect sense for me as the customer and client or potential client to take that next step. It makes perfect sense. Yes, I want that. I want to learn more. I need that other piece, right? So one way that I do this, and let me just back up a second, because one of the challenges that I see with coaches is that they are creating lead magnets and free offers without any real plan. And so the lead magnets become very disconnected from the paid offers they're making. And that doesn't really help you. So one way that I look at this is I start with the low tier offer. So the whether this is like a $9 offer or it's a $27 or $47 offer, I start there. What's my idea for a product that will solve a problem for my target audience that is going to be priced, at that low dollar amount? I start with that. And then I look at that and I say, what tool, and by tool, I mean a spreadsheet, some kind of tracker, some kind of even a calculator, right? If that's relevant to your work, a template, a planner, maybe a journal if it's highly relevant and specific. Checklists can work as well, again, but if it's highly specific, let's say that's like a checklist to build your one-page website or your 5-page website, and it's this highly detailed checklist. If I'm somebody who has no idea where to start with that could be incredibly helpful. It just needs to be specific enough that it's actually something I can use. So what tool then makes my chances of succeeding with this this low tier to mid tier offer? As I said, let's say that it's a mini course that I bought. What tool will help me have a better experience with that mini course and be able to experience results from it? So that tool, if you start by looking and deciding what that mid-tier, low-tier offer is going to be, like I said, maybe it's a course, a mini course. So if you are starting with the paid product first and you're creating that, and then you're asking the question, what tool is going to help me have a better experience and possibly result from that paid product? And you create that as your free offer, your lead magnet, it naturally is highly relevant, as I explained earlier. So in building this offer stack, each piece naturally leads to the next. You can do the same if you already have your core offer by looking at that and saying, what would get me started in this bigger commitment, right? So maybe somebody isn't ready to jump right into the big offer. You can ask yourself the question, what would get a person started, and create a smaller paid offer, but it's still highly relevant, right? And then, of course, from there, what tool would help them have a better result from this paid offer or a better experience? So this kind of reverse engineering, sometimes it's starting in the middle and going back and then going forward, depending on what offers you already have. But that's a really effective way to create your offers and create a better experience of them, better conversion. I hope that's been helpful. I want to give you a quick update of where I am in my list growth efforts. Last week, I think I was just starting another list growth event, and I had a second one right on the heels of that. So that event was only 4 days. And that event has ended, and I am in the midst of the second one, which I think runs for another 5 days. So between that short 4-day list growth event and there was a smaller event that ran right about the same time for a couple of days. And then I'm in the middle of another one now that is running for another 5 days, but it has been running for 5 days already. So between those 3 events, I got an additional 108 leads added to my email list, which brings me, for the quarter so far, brings me to 699 new leads. So I'm one away from 700, and I still have the goal of 1,000 new leads for this first quarter, which, I still have a few weeks left. So it's going to be really tight, but I'm going to push as hard as I can to make this happen and reach that goal of 1,000. Of course, I'm going to continue on after the first quarter, and I'm still working just as hard to reach the 4,000. So we'll see where I'm at the end of the quarter, but I'm still really hopeful that I'm going to hit that first milestone of 1,000. But I'm actually doing really well so far at 699. I'm very happy with that. So I'll keep you updated. And by the way, I manage all of this. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, I manage all of this through a list growth planning calendar. And if you would like to get a copy of mine and make it your own, there is a link below for you to do just that. And I hope that you will join me on this journey, learn from my mistakes, because boy, have I made them, and be able to grow your list maybe even faster than me without any paid ads or complicated strategies. I'd love to have you along for the journey. And by the way, if this has been helpful for you, please hit like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel. And of course, if there's anything more that you would like to hear me address or talk about or give some guidance on, just leave it in the comments below. And let's reach more coaches building businesses, because that is the personal economy that we are all trying to build. Much love, and I will see you next time.